And we say good morning to you. Welcome aboard. We are live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City on show number 555. They said it wouldn't work, and here we are going strong again on this Wednesday, July the 12th, 2017. And the countdown to Christmas, if you care, 165 days to Christmas. Most don't want to hear that, but it is that which it is. And so we're here again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings, getting ready for a big lunch. Again, thanks for all the fun we had yesterday at Phil's Dream Pit. Had over 2,300 viewers yesterday. And we thank you for that. Our high water mark at this point has been about 3,200, so 2,300 viewers yesterday, and we're awfully excited about that. And so we continue to grow. The show continues to grow. And so we're here live again at Chick-fil-A, the Crossings, North Johnson City. Who we got coming up? Coming up in just a second, the man, the myth, the legend, Danny Birchfield's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to join us from Chick-fil-A. Also, Casey Marler from WJHL TV is going to join us by phone. Also, Greg Salyer is going to be with us, talking about Major League Baseball, the All-Star game last night, home run derby, second half of the season, all that coming up. Dave Onge is going to join us a bit later on as well. And so right now, we're going to go ahead and get my man over here, switch cameras out so we can get his handsome mug on here as well. And that would be, boom, hit that. And then we're going to go down here and hit that, and there he is, Danny Birchfield from Chick-fil-A. See if I can get him over here, move all this stuff. It's like a gypsy traveling. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Busy.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get into sports, and we'll talk a little sports, tell me about this smokehouse barbecue bacon sandwich.
It's a good sandwich.
All the time, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's a grilled chicken sandwich with brown sugar and pepper blend bacon on it. And it's got Colby Jack cheese, smokehouse barbecue sauce. It's on a sweet yeast bun, and it's only limited time. So I'm not sure the exact date of that, but soon.
So
through summer probably, and then fall we'll switch over to something new, probably in August.
Came in here last night, and there was a lot of people's spots all over. There was a reason. I mean, there was. You know what was really crazy for me? The adults were dressed up crazy than the kids were.
Yes. It's a fun day. It's a long day, but it's a fun day.
Yeah, so tell folks what it was.
Cow Appreciation Day. Dressed like a cow, you got a free entree. Kids got a free kids meal.
Yep, and so
it's the second Tuesday in July every year. So mark it on your calendar for next year.
Yep, and so it was piled in here. They were and having a big time. But
yes, sir.
We're back to business today. Make sure you get. I want to get you on. I'm not getting the camera. I don't get that handsome rascal on there. So also on the flip side. Talk about this for just a second. I promise we'll get into some sports.
The watermelon mint lemonade. Yes, you can get it with either regular or diet, and it's got a mint flavor with a watermelon in it, and it says best results stir before you sip. It's limited time. I have not because I'm not a lemonade drinker and I do not like watermelon. So
you're over
but we do sell a ton of it. We sell a ton of it. So yes, absolutely.
Talking to our buddy Danny Birch here, we're going to talk about how the cool down is going to be in the 90s again today. Of course, I've got the half and half tea right here, a little orange slice. Can't beat the tea at Chick-fil-A. But we'll get into the milkshakes and the frosted or the frozen lemonade, not the frozen lemonade. The what do you call it? Frosted lemonade. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a second. All right. What sports topic you want to go to? It's your choice. Jump in there and go.
I have not honestly been keeping up with sports lately. I'm not sure. I'm not a big baseball fan, so I don't keep up with baseball a lot. I couldn't tell you anything about. I know the home run derby was on. I'm not sure who won. I know Aaron Judge was the favorite. You know, I know I've heard he's the. I need to watch him play because I've heard he's just outstanding. Heard several comparisons to some big names, and hopefully he can live up to it. But I've heard he's unbelievable. I did see the one home run a couple of weeks ago that was just 468, almost 500 feet, something like that he knocked out.
Home run derby the other night. He actually hit one on top of the roof of Marlins Park. Had 4 or 500 foot plus home runs.
Oh wow!
Is the ball juiced? Because the pitcher's saying it's juiced. Manfred comes out yesterday and says, the commissioner says, no, it's not juiced. Well, then how these guys knock him out of the park like they're doing? They just get bigger and stronger.
They're not bigger and stronger. I mean, when you go back to McGuire and all them guys, but those guys were juiced though. The ball wasn't juiced; those guys were juiced. So that there's a difference, you know. I mean, you know, now they say they're checking better for that stuff, but
SEC Media Days today. Here's the coaches at the podium in Hoover, Alabama. Nick Saban, Alabama. Mark Stoops, Kentucky. Barry Odom, Missouri. And Kevin Sumlin of Texas A&M. How would you feel if you were Kevin Sumlin? Your athletic director comes out in the spring meetings in Florida and says, 8-5 back-to-back years, it ain't going to cut it. He's got to do better than that or he's gone. How would you feel all summer having that angle on your shoulder?
I'm honestly surprised he's got a job. I mean, I honestly figured they'd get rid of him at the end of last year. After as good a start as they had and to end the year the way they did, I mean, and in all honesty, I'm a Tennessee fan. They should have had one more loss. I mean, Tennessee gave them that game. They didn't win it. Tennessee gave them that game. So, I really didn't figure they'd bring him back. I guess the money outweighs it right now. But he mid-season, if they're 4-4, 5-3, something like that, he'll probably be gone.
So don't cry too many tears for Kevin Sumlin. I went and checked his buyout contract. It's unbelievable.
I'm sure.
$10 million.
I see. That's why he's still coaching.
$1 million a year over 10 years.
That's why he's still coaching.
I mean,
it's the Bobby Bonilla thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So seriously, if you're the school, if you're a president or an athletic director, and you're hiring me as your coach, and I say, okay, if I don't get this done, you're going to pay me $10 million to walk away. Why in the Sam Hills of school would you pay that? I mean, why would you agree to that? I don't get that.
That goes into a whole nother can of worms. That's where, if you can afford to pay coaches that to coach college football, these players deserve something. Because these players are the ones putting it on the field.
Exactly.
And the coaches are just coaching. And you've got coaches like him that have talent, same as Butch Jones, and can't get it done with the talent. So there's a disconnect somewhere. Don't know where it's at, but I just think it's got outrageous. They're getting paid like NFL coaches to coach college football.
See on the screen, we're talking to our buddy Danny Birchfield from Chick-Fil-A. He's going to get back over there in a minute because lunches, it'll crank up here in a minute. It'll be wide open.
Yes, sir.
That's the way we like it. So here we go down the list. Before I let him go, big Tennessee fan. I want you to pick them for me here on the air, and let's go.
Okay.
Win or loss, right down the Tennessee schedule at Georgia Tech. Win or loss.
Win.
All right. Indiana State.
Win.
Come on, it's a checkbook game. Okay. At Florida.
Win.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. UMass back home.
Win.
Okay, that's a checkbook game. Checkbook game by definition, you just write the team a check, beat their brains out, and send them home. It's a win. So they're 4-0. Then you've got them coming in back home. You got back-to-back with Georgia and South Carolina.
Win-win.
All right. Then you go to Alabama.
Lose in a close game.
All right. Then you go to Kentucky.
Win.
All right. Then you come back home to Southern Miss in November.
Win.
Then you go to Missouri. Final road game. All right. Then you have LSU at home.
That's a loss.
Okay. And you wrap up with Vanderbilt at home.
That's a win revenge game. That's a blowout.
10-2. Can you live with that?
10-2. Going to conference championship.
Yeah. SEC
against
East.
LSU again.
Oh, you don't think Alabama will be in the? Oh, really?
It's LSU.
Woo-hoo. So okay, it's LSU going to win the SEC West.
Tennessee the East.
All right, let's go ahead and put UT, SEC East.
And I have the right to change these mid-season. after week one, I get to change them weekly.
Right before the SEC championship. No, wait a minute, I didn't pick that.
Yeah, really.
I didn't pick
That's
that.
not what I picked.
That's not what I picked.
You can't find proof of that.
SEC West, LSU, SC. Okay. Why do you think Alabama's not what they were before? Why do you think the slip? What's going to cause the slip? To be slipping to number one?
I think he's too big for his britches. And I just don't think, after watching what happened with Kiffin last year and seeing how he interacts with somebody, him and Kiffin were friends, and when Kiffin decided that he needed to go coach somewhere, that friendship went out the door. And I kind of get that feeling that his players, I think they saw that. And that's, I just don't think it looks good to the team.
All right. So.
Plus, I think everybody's finally catching up with him.
Well, that may be the case.
I mean, that's eventually, it's just like the NFL, it cycles. And I'm going with the other commentators on this. They say they predicted Alabama 10-2. And LSU would be one of those losses. So.
There you go. We're talking to our buddy Danny Birchfield. Before I let you go, it is hot. Summertime's here. The dog days are here. A great place to come in where it's cool inside the store here, inside the restaurant, the Crossings in North Johnson City. But if you want to get it to go, or you come in, Give me some ideas how to cool down. What do you got up there to cool down?
Got shakes. We got the frosted lemonade. We got the frosted coffee. And the watermelon mint lemonade.
So Daniel brought me a frosted coffee one time. Man, it's the best thing on earth. You'll love it. And it's like, didn't flip my trip.
I'm not a big frosted coffee drinker. Yeah. I don't drink coffee. Tea is what I drink.
There you go.
Tea or water.
Tea, right here. Milkshake, peach milkshake, been flying out of here.
Yeah, flying out of here like crazy. Limited time too, probably August on it.
There you go.
So
you got frosted lemonade, chocolate milkshake,
peach,
vanilla, strawberry, cookies and cream milkshakes.
Yes, sir.
And the frosted lemonade.
Yep.
And then, as we said, this also, the watermelon mint lemonade, and Daniel says you can get that frosted too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I've never had that. So the frosted watermelon
they can add
lemonade.
Yep.
That may not be bad. I may try that before we get out here today. That's not bad at all. So, and then catering. I know we got back to school coming up, and we got Fun Fest next week. If you're going to be heading that way, you either want to pick up something and go, or have it delivered, or have an event catered. You had a big stack of stuff being catered today, didn't you?
Yes, box meals. We do box meals. We do trays. Pretty much anything you want.
952-0031, nocal.com. Last question before I let you go. Right now, in your humble opinion, the top 3 college football teams going into the preseason, who's number 3, who's number 2, and who's your number 1 preseason pick?
Alabama's 3.
Okay.
USC.
Ooh, number 2. Okay.
I've not kept up. Florida State? No. I don't know a set number 1. I mean, most polls have Alabama coming out at number 1. And then after that, it's a free-for-all for the top 10. I really don't know.
Alabama, Florida State played to start the season.
Yeah. I mean, because that's where so somebody's could get very well knocked out of it first. Is that first game?
First game.
Yeah, that's at the Georgia Dome or Mercedes-Benz Dome, isn't it?
I'm getting ready to find out.
Is that one of the Chick-Fil-A games?
I knew he was going to ask.
I believe it's one of the Chick-Fil-A games because Tennessee, Georgia Tech's is Tennessee, Georgia Tech one of the Chick-Fil-A games?
All right, let's see. Florida State in Atlanta.
Yep. That's
September
one of
the 2nd, Chick-fil-A
that's
game.
Chick-fil-A game, and Tennessee, Georgia Tech is too, I believe. Mm-hmm. So that's 2 good matchups, but you're going to knock one of the top contenders out first day.
And we went down Tennessee's schedule. Let's go down Alabama real quick. We don't have to go win-loss, but let's see how strong the schedule is. Florida State, very strong coming out. Fresno State, pretty good. Colorado State, no.
Money game.
At Vanderbilt, that's a conference game. You got to play it. Ole Miss.
That's always tough for them. Ole Miss can have one of the worst teams in the SEC. They still play Alabama tough. That's a shootout, 50-48 game, no matter who's playing.
At Texas A&M. Alabama's got Arkansas homecoming, then Tennessee, then open day, then have LSU at Mississippi State, Mercer, and everybody says the second best team in the SEC going into the preseason is Auburn. So they'll play the Iron Bowl at Auburn. So
that'll be the deciding game on who goes. I think that'll decide who's going to Atlanta. It'll come down to that last game right there, because I think they'll both possibly roll into it with one loss, one conference loss.
Nick Saban on I do have my glasses. Hang on here. I want to make sure I get these numbers right. Then we'll get out of here. Let you get going.
Okay.
Casey Marler's waiting in the wings. So Nick Saban at Alabama 119 and 19. At home he's 63-7. On the road he's 36-6. And versus top 10 teams he's 25-8. So
good resume to have. Tells you where the talent goes.
There you go. All right, I know you get back over there and swing that chicken.
Thanks, sir.
I love this guy. He's a great guy. Thank you. He does a wonderful job. We'll take a quick break. Come right back. We will go from Danny Birchfield to Casey Marler from WJHL Television. Joins us by phone. Next, we're live with Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Again, show number 555, and they said it would not last.
This is the place where you can forget all about work for a while and celebrate the good old U.S. of A. And take in the best bumper-banging, fist-waving, hero-making short track race of the year, the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And kids' tickets are just $10. Be there August 19th, because it ain't just another race. It's Bristol, baby.
Trucks, 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 and more trucks at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. We have a huge selection of over 400 new Silverados to choose from, with over 700 total Chevrolets in stock, with savings that are bigger than our massive selection. Silverado Double and Crew Cab All-Stars, $11,000 off MSRP. Malibu LT, 20% off. 17 Colorado, $19,995. 17 Equinox, $21,445. Don't miss out on one of the best times to buy a new Chevrolet with savings that will leave you asking, how do they do that? At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game. Birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
We're back live with the Tom Taylor Sports Show live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Show number 555. They said it wouldn't last, going strong. And, of course, we're here, and he's there. He's our buddy Casey Marler from WJHL TV. And hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey, Tom. Doing great, man. Just enjoying this summertime heat, but I always have one eye on the fall. Always.
One eye on the pigskin. You got it. So let's jump in and talk about it. Let's talk about the Tennessee football team. Butch Jones, the media days earlier in the week, looked like, from what I watched, he spent pretty much the whole time defending himself and what he's done at Tennessee. So what's your take on Butch Jones and the Vols this year?
Well, a lot of talk is about the hot seat, whether or not Butch Jones is on the hot seat. I've been asked what's the magic number, how many games does he have to win. First of all, I say if you beat Alabama and you beat Florida, it doesn't matter. You know, that buys you a lot of time. But he's probably got to win 7-8 games, got to compete for an East Division championship. The East is a lot more difficult to win this year than it was last year. Florida's better. Georgia's better. So I think that heats it up a little bit. But it's really going to matter the quarterback position. And I know we just keep beating on it, but there are two unknown commodities. I mean, the great thing about having a superstar like Joshua Dobbs is you know what you're going to get for 3 or 4 years. The downside about that is he took so many snaps, so many critical snaps, and you don't have a clue what's coming in. With an unproven quarterback in the SEC, and that's no place for a quarterback without experience. And so that's where the story is going to be told. We're going to learn pretty early on, how they react under pressure. and that's going to go a long way in deciding how the season goes. I think they're going to have to lean on their defense. They're going to have to lean on their offensive line. They've got young guys that are projected superstars. They've got some maturity there. The running game's going to have to be big, and they're going to need a lot of parts to step up where Joshua Dobbs could really make those parts look even better than they already were last year.
We're talking to Casey Marler from WJHL TV, live with us on the phone. Love having my man on. So going up the road a little bit, we talk all about Tennessee. Not a whole lot being said about Justin Fuente and the Virginia Tech Hokies. What do you think they're going to do in 2017?
I'll tell you what, when you talk about, buy low, sell high, well, a year ago at this time, we had no idea. We knew Virginia Tech was a brand. We knew they had good players. But we didn't know what Justin Fuente was going to bring to the table, whether he could establish his own culture with what has already been built by Frank Beamer, who retired. And I'll tell you, the battle at Bristol, when I was out there, my eyes kind of lit up because Virginia Tech really competed. They were outmanned against Tennessee, but they competed. You could tell early on that Fuente, they were going to play for the head coach. And that's the number one thing in college football. No matter how much you know, to a certain extent, recruiting is important. A lot of people would say it's the only thing, but are those 18 to 22-year-old kids willing to play for the coach? And they played for him, and they got better and better all year long. And by the end of the year, big bowl game victory, come from behind win, improbable come from behind win. So when you're talking about the ACC, they have as good a shot as anybody to make it back to the ACC title game, and so we'll see. But I was very impressed with the head coaching job last year, and really picked up right where the program left off. If he didn't, pick it up a half tick in his first year.
We're talking to Casey Marler, our buddy again from WJHL TV. We love having him on. So let's a little closer to home talk about the blue and gold here in Johnson City, the Buccaneers of East Tennessee State with Coach Torbush. What do you think about them this year?
Man, I am absolutely thrilled about what is going on down at ETSU. Hardly a day goes by that I don't drive by that new stadium and peek inside. Every day just a little something more than there was the day before. And you talk about a program that's ahead of schedule. Coach Torbush and company, they were playing great football. Upset win against Stanford to end the season. 5 wins against just 5 losses. Big win in the opener against Kennesaw State. Competitive throughout the season. Western Carolina, on and on and on. And now you add the football stadium, 6,500 seats, a possibility of 10,000 fans, a winnable game to open the season. You play the defending national champions in the second week of the season. They got everything going on. Experienced quarterback, great running backs. And so it's easy to get excited about ETSU football. Are they going to compete for a national championship? No, they're not going to go compete for a national championship. Are they going to compete to be in the top third of the Southern Conference? Absolutely, they have the ability to do that. And moreover, the enthusiasm that they're bringing to the Tri-Cities and will continue to do so when they throw those lights on there in early September is something that our community hasn't seen for a long, long time. And I'm not talking, we had football in 2003, okay? But everybody agrees to a man that wasn't the ETSU football that we grew accustomed to during the glory days of the 60s, 70s, some hints of greatness in the 80s and early 90s. And we're going to surpass that right out of the box. And so it's easy to get excited about the blue and gold. Man, I can't wait. I cannot wait till they throw the lights on and play Limestone at opening Saturday, brand new stadium. It's going to be a sight to see.
You got it. We're talking to Casey Marler again with us on WJHL TV. Got him for a couple of more minutes. He's got a day job he's got to be ready for here in a little while. So let's take a look at your preseason top 5 in college football. Starting number 5. Who do you think it is?
Number 5, I'm going to go with Michigan. Okay, I want to pick them higher. It pains me as a Nebraska guy to talk about a Big Ten team with such a team, and I got another one, not 2. Which is unfortunate. But I think Michigan, I think Harbaugh is climbing, and I'm going to put him in the top 5.
Okay. Number 4.
Okay, number 4. Let's see here. Number 4, let's go with LSU.
Whoa. Okay.
Only because I like LSU. I think they're a pretty decent football team. They're always going to compete. You know, new coaches, but they've always got great players. And so we'll go there.
All right, number 3.
So I got Big Ten. Boy, I'm really stretching it out. All right, going Big Ten at 5 and SEC at 4. I'm really rocking the boat. Let's go number 3, USC.
All right.
Now we'll go Florida State. We'll go with the ACC. We'll keep it in the Southeast. Florida State.
At number 3, all right.
They're playing well. Number 2, Ohio State.
Wow, okay. Number 1, Bama, I would guess.
I have to. I look up and down and I try to figure out somebody to put there other than Alabama, but how can you put anybody else there? Until, I don't think Clemson, I think everything Clemson did was surrounded by their quarterback. And they're going to come in high because they've had a great run. But they're going to have to prove to me that they're the same team now. So I'm putting Alabama at number 1. They're the team to beat. And, you know, until somebody proves that they're consistently better, I'm going to keep it that way.
September the 2nd, they open up their season in Atlanta in the Chick-Fil-A game against the Florida State Seminoles. You got 1 and 3 playing right out of the chute. That'll go a long way in deciding a lot of things.
That's the best thing about college football. It's tempered a little bit, but 25 years ago, the loser of that game was done.
Yep,
they were done. They were. But at least now you're rewarded by the pundits for scheduling those big games. So the loser's not going to fall too far down. You still win your conference championship, but that's going to be a couple heavy hitters. And I like Nick Saban when you give him a month to prepare for a team. I don't think there's anybody better.
We got a couple of minutes left here with the gentleman before I let him go again. Let's switch it real quick to NFL. Our boys, the Raiders, and your Chiefs getting ready to duke it out in the AFC West. And what's your take on the NFL season coming up?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for the end of last season. It was unfortunate. Carr is such a class act, but when he went down, you could see entire Raider Nation deflate.
Yep.
It was like when they walked on the field, almost they didn't think they could win without it.
Yep.
And Kansas City was in a position, kind of like when a NASCAR driver runs out of gas on the last lap, somebody's got to be in second to take advantage.
Yep.
And
You're
that's
right.
kind of what happened late in the season last year. But I think right now Oakland's going up, the Raiders are going up, and I think Kansas City's going to have to prove it. Had a lot of changes in the front office, changes on the field. They go draft a quarterback. They trade up. They draft a quarterback, which immediately puts the pressure on the quarterback position. They lose their best defensive lineman in Poe. And so, I thought they were a year away. I don't know. They seem like they're acting like they're building for the future, talking about the Chiefs. The Raiders know their time is now, and they're acting like it.
Last question, who's the best?
And as long as both teams finish ahead of the Broncos and the Chargers, then we're all winners.
Can Brady and the Patriots repeat this year?
Yes.
Yes.
I kind of put Tom Brady and the Patriots in the same category. I put Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. I mean, who's going to beat them? Somebody's got to beat them. They're not going to give it away. And so they're the team to beat going in. Someone's going to have to prove otherwise. First thing you got to do is you got to get the AFC Championship game out of New England. That's the first step. And then after that, at least you got a puncher's chance to go to the Super Bowl. But if Brady and the Patriots are at home in late January, you're in deep trouble.
Great report as always. Selfishly promote yourself. How can we see you? How can we find you? How can we check out Casey Marler?
Well, we're getting ready to start the noon show here on News Channel 11 and ABC Tri-Cities, and we are at shows all the time here. We're on from 4:30 to 7 a.m. Amy Lynn and I, Jeremy does the weather, and that's both on WJHL, Traditional, and ABC Tri-Cities. We're on again at 9 a.m. on ABC exclusively, and then noon again, News Channel 11 and ABC also. So plenty of opportunities, and big news day coming up, and we're getting ready to put the finishing touches on the noon show here. It starts in about a half hour.
I got to let you go. Love you, man. Appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Tom. Anytime. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah. Great work, sir.
Yes, sir. Great job. Our buddy Casey Marler from WJHL. Got to let him go so he can get ready for his noon newscast on TV 11 WJHL. Great sports guy and fun guy to be around. He's a class act, and I'm smart enough to surround myself by guys like Casey Marler and Haley coming up here next, and Greg Angie and Dave Angie and Greg Salyer. So quick break. We'll be right back. Don't forget, as we go to the break, like here on the screen, be sure and register. Why would you not? 2 one-day passes to Dollywood. We'll give them away a week from Friday. Over $100 per, of course. And thanks to Jeremy Livesey at jeremylivesey.com with Mortgage Investors Group. So he put the tickets up and said, I want to give away some tickets on your show. So go there, and you have, all you got to do is name, first name, last name, your email address, and, of course, the town that you're from. We've got 5 states covered now, and so we appreciate that very much. So go there and register. There it is on the screen, TomTaylorSports.com/contest. Quick break. We'll be right back. Coming up, we'll talk about the All-Star game that happened last night. The American League did it again. We got lots of breaking news, and NASCAR is almost breaking by the minute. We'll talk about that a little bit later on the show. We got Dave Angie coming up from the Johnson City Press. We also got Greg Salyer coming up in a few minutes with the Major League Baseball update. But up next, a young man who they're doing great things to reach kids with the gospel. We'll take a break, come right back. We'll tell you all about this young man and his organization called First Priority next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
Back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show, that ain't me. We'll get him on there because we got to get him up and running. And we always dedicate this show to the man who hung on the cross. We unashamedly do that. And so Haley's here with us with First Priority. First off, good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Just fine. I appreciate you coming back over here. We got a chance to meet a while back, and he's going to be a regular contributor to the show. We always dedicate our show to the man who hung on the cross. We unashamedly do that. And so we have a verse of the day every day, and I thought, instead of me reading it every day, let's let some of the guests read it. So today's out of the book of Psalms. Take it away, big guy. What's the verse of the day?
It's Psalms 25, 4 and 5. Wait on me. I will show you my ways. I will teach you my paths. I will lead you in truth. I am the God of your salvation.
There you go. Don't get any better than that. Psalms 25,
4
verses 4 and 5. Again, the verse of the day. Again, wait on me. I will show you my ways. I will teach you my paths. I will lead you in truth. I am the God of your salvation. How many people do I know that I've talked to that said, I got ahead of God. I did it my way instead of doing it his way, and it was a train wreck. You do it his way. Heard Charles Stanley say not too long ago in a sermon, he said, if you are riding on a garbage truck, if you're teaching school, whatever you're doing, if you're doing it in the Lord's will, it'll be exactly where you need to be.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and I've always heard if you want to make God laugh, you just tell him your plans.
Yeah.
Right?
This is how I'm going to do it, God. I'm going, really? Really? We get back to you on that. So, anyway, good stuff. Haley's here with us. Haley's also a big Hokies fan from Virginia Tech. We'll talk about Hokie football.
Go Hokies.
Go Hokies. I'm going to run him down the list and let him predict game-by-game win or loss, see what kind of record he thinks the Hokies are going to have coming up here in a few minutes. But first, let's talk about why he's here. He is the executive director of First Priority. And so for folks out there who have no clue, kind of give us an overview of what it's all about, your organization.
Well, First Priority is a ministry that unites churches around middle and high school campuses and then helps them empower their students to create student-led, adult-mentored evangelistic clubs at their school and to share the gospel with their peers. Our vision statement is the hope of Christ in every student, and we believe that with an active group of students sharing their faith at a school, that every student that comes through middle and high school could have a chance to hear the gospel at least one time and respond to it before they graduate.
Some of the schools, of course, you're getting ready to start a new school year. Last year, some of the schools that you guys were involved in, what were some of them?
We were from anywhere from Marion, Virginia to Newport, Tennessee. So we were in Marion Middle School, Saltville Middle, which is Northwood Middle, Northwood High, Cherokee High, Sirgonsville Middle School, Cloudland High School up in Carter County, and then down in Newport you've got all the little elementary schools. Going to top off my head what they are, but they were in all across. But we were in 16 schools.
Yeah, pretty big area from Marion down to what'd you say down to
Newport.
Down to Newport. Wow, that's
very large. But and everybody says how do you manage that many schools? And the answer is I don't. First Priority empowers the local churches to do the ministry. So. We go in and train them how to do it, and then we mentor them through that. And I don't have to be at a school every day because the community's there and the students are there.
Neat stuff. Again, we're talking to Haley, again, the executive director of First Priority. So they need our help. They need your help. They need my help. And an event coming up in early August, which is not that far away. And it's the Weekend of Prayer for Students. Tell me about that, would you please?
Well, in 2014, the governor of Tennessee declared a proclamation declaring August 10th of that year as the Day of Prayer over Students. And it was the first time it had ever been done in Tennessee. There is an ongoing one that happens in Alabama every year. And it was such a success that local legislators, Rusty Crowe was the senator who sponsored it. He sponsored a bill that made it a annual thing. It didn't have to be a proclamation. It's now signed into law, designating the first weekend of prayer, or first weekend in August, as the Weekend of Prayer over Students every year.
So, having said that, which I appreciate our government doing that here, because the best thing you do for these kids going back to school, because they are inundated with all kinds of garbage. I can tell you that firsthand, just dealing with mine and what they bring home and what they ask about. And I'm thinking, you're asking about that, you're in 5th grade, it's like, or 6th grade or whatever, give me a break. But our kids need our prayer, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They go through some unbelievable circumstances, not just at school, but at home. I was talking to a few students at Sirgonsville Middle School, and I asked them what's the biggest problem they face there. And they chatted with each other for a second and looked at me and said that most of the parents are addicted to drugs. And I was shocked at that I thought maybe they were exaggerating, but when we get to examining it, there's quite a bit of drug abuse in all of Northeast Tennessee.
Yeah.
Just happened to be at that one school that day.
Yeah. So best thing to do for our young people is getting ready to head into a brand new school year is to pray for them, obviously. And so that leads us right into the event coming up August the 5th and the 6th. Tell us about it.
Well, this is an annual call to prayer across the state of Tennessee to pray for our students, not just our students, but our entire school, staff, teachers, administrators, that's kindergarten through college, and to bathe them in prayer before the year is out. And I'll actually even not just stop on the first weekend, but to pray throughout the year. And one of the goals of First Priority is to see a campus prayer walk happen at every school in the state of Tennessee. So what we're looking for is individuals or churches that would sponsor an hour of prayer at a local school. Let us know about it, and we'd love to see the whole map of Tennessee covered with prayer walks on those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
His phone number is 676-3585. There's a website. It's First Priority BR, capital BR.org. First Priority, capital B as in boy, R.org. That's the website you go to find out more about this organization. So you've got being a captain, telling the story, and joining in prayer. Tell us about those.
Well, if you choose to be if you choose to adopt a school for prayer, we would call you a captain, and you would designate a time at the campus. They may on the day, maybe Saturday at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then you would promote that across the community and invite people to come and pray, and then you would help kind of organize the prayer time. Now, the prayer time, we have lots of different examples of that on the website for this, but most of the time people just pray as God leads them, so you're the captain promoting it. You're also telling the story about what God is doing in the school, the prayer needs at that school, and then you're just part of the body of Christ as we lift up the community and pray over the schools that weekend.
These are adults you're talking about being the captain, correct?
No, we not necessarily have to be that. A lot of students will adopt their school and organize it. One of my favorite ones I've ever been to was one student leader at Science Hill organized it and then carried out a really detailed hour of prayer, and she led it and had invited community people to come in and pray over certain parts of the school, and it's really cool to see our students have that burden to pray for their peers.
Talking to Haley Wherry again with First Priority. So again, I would think by August 4th or 5th and the 6th, a lot of the schools will be back in session, won't they? A lot of them will be back.
Yes, most schools in Tennessee start the first weekend of August 3rd.
Yeah, so number one is be a captain. Number two, it says, how can we get involved to tell the story? Tell me about that.
Well, there's some stories on our website, but it's in the story of how this came about also is on our website. But telling the story is not necessarily history. It's telling the story of what God's doing right now around the school. I can tell you one story, that one of my favorite stories that came out of this from last year. This happened in Middle Tennessee. A lady has a daughter who is kind of rebelling from God, is not a believer, and she's constantly praying for her daughter. And then this weekend, she was invited to the daughter's school for the weekend of prayer walk, and asked the daughter, "Would you go with me?" The daughter refused to go. So at the prayer walk, the mother said to the group while they were praying, said, "Could you pray for my daughter?" Said she's rebellious, she's denouncing God, she's all the situation. And they together, I think there was 30-something people there, they prayed over this young lady. Well, the mother got home, and when she opened the door, the girl met her at the door. And the girl said, "What did you do?" And the mother said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "While you were gone, God convicted me, and I fell on my knees, and I accepted Christ as my Savior in my bedroom that day." So that was just one story. There's tons of stories of how this is also an amazing opportunity to build a bridge to a school, from the church to the school. I have stories of churches that would always want to minister to schools, but the schools are always a little bit, "Hey, you're Christians, we really can't get you involved here." But since the government has declared this is a weekend of prayer for schools, the churches can go now and say, "Hey, we're supposed to, by law, it's not law, but there's a bill here, the government says to pray for you. How can we pray for you?" And I've had some witnesses or testimonies of pastors that say over the last 3 years, they've gone from reluctantly saying, "Well, pray for X, Y, and Z," to actually giving them requests to pray over spiritual things at their school. We have principals that will open the doors and ask the community to pray over hands-on the lockers and in the classrooms every now and then you get an administration that's reluctant about it. And if we say if the principal says I don't want you on my campus, then you just stand off the side or pray somewhere else in the community of that school. But that rarely has happened in the last 3 years. Most administrators understand the importance of prayer. Even the ones that don't believe in God know that support of the community is an amazing thing, so they don't turn it down.
I think people see the problem and the need. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to see the headlines, and even if you don't have kids in the system, maybe a little bit older, and you don't necessarily have a child or grandchild in the system, but you look and see what these kids got to deal with every day, the peer pressure and all the different problems. I've said many times I would never want to be a kid right now trying to grow up, because they're inundated, it would be a good word, of all the pressures they have to deal with as a young person. So we can pray for them. Again, the website is pray with the number 4, prayforstudentstn.com. Prayforstudentstn.com. And so if you get a chance, please go there and check that out. It's happening statewide. And of course, their website, firstpriority.br.org. And so this is coming up on August the 5th and the 6th.
Yes, and I do want to encourage anybody that's listening, if you're not in Tennessee, that doesn't mean you can't do this.
Exactly.
So we're actually going to be sending letters out to the legislators in Virginia. We have ministries up in Virginia, so we'd love to see this happen in Virginia. And I'm praying that it happens all over the nation. But if you don't have to be in Tennessee to organize prayer for your schools. And there's lots of resources on that website and ideas, and I'd love to hear from you, even if you're in Florida listening. Or
Yep, prayforstudentstn.com. And so it's coming up August 5th and the 6th. We'll get him back in one more time before the event and let him toot his horn about that as well. Hey, we're live at Chick-Fil-A coming up. Big NASCAR news. We told you the last couple of days you're going to see some movement, some of the big name drivers, and we had some big movement overnight. We'll tell you who's going. One guy's out, one guy's in, and Junior's seat still out there, but it's becoming more evident, at least to me, who's going to be heading that way to start driving for Junior next year in that 88 car of the Nationwide Chevrolet. So we'll talk about that coming up. Don't forget, we are 35 days away from tonight, the doubleheader of the Bush's Beans 150 and the UNOH 200 truck race. Again, it's going to be a great night of racing action at Bristol Motor Speedway. 423 Bristol is your phone number. BristolTix.com or 1-866-415-4158 is the out-of-town number to call. But the easiest is go to BristolTix.com. And don't forget, kids get in free on Wednesday. Kids get on free on Friday night for the Food City 300. Austin Dillon's back in to defend his crown, and only a $10 ticket on Saturday night when Kevin Harvick will be back to defend his crown of the the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race. And so as the track announcer, cannot wait to get up there. It's going to be, I can tell you this is not hype. I can tell you because I can tell you they're selling a lot of tickets for this race. There's going to be a huge crowd. It's Dale Jr.'s last trip to Bristol. He's going to drive on both the Food City 300 on Friday night and the Bass Pro Shop NRA night race on Saturday evening. So it's a double dip to see Junior for the last time at Bristol. They're going to put down the sticky stuff for that bottom groove. So you're going to have 2 grooves of racing. Again, it's only 43 feet wide, the track, and they're going 2 and 3 wide at 120 miles an hour down this front and back stretch. So, it's going to be beating and banging. The pressure's on at that point of the season. These guys and Danica duking to get into the chase. So lots of reasons to get your tickets, and they are being, I'm telling you, they're selling the tickets at Bristol Motor Speedway. That's not hype. That's the way it is. Now, college football not that far away. Haley is a Hokie man. Haley is a Hokie man, which is a good thing. I like the Hokies too. So what was your take on 2017? What did you think about the Hokies?
Well, I mean, I think just about any Hokie fan came away from that season with happier than we could ever imagine. We knew it was going to be a rebuilding year with a new coach. Not sure. My freshman year was the first year Beamer was there, so I knew nothing but Beamer ball. So to be able to have a new coach come in, a new quarterback, and all that was a lot of uncertainty. But we just were ecstatic of where we were and what happened and where our team is headed.
So, having said that, I mean, Justin Fuente got a contract extension. The basketball program is in good hands right now on the men's side. See, baseball, they let their coach go and just hired a new coach in baseball. So there's some movement at Virginia Tech, but again, the football's on solid ground. And so, having said that, here we go. Let's see. Colin Brooks yesterday said 9-3 Hokies. Let's go down one by one, see what you think.
9-3, huh? Okay.
West Virginia FedEx Field, win or loss?
Oh, I'm excited about West Virginia. That was a rivalry that we lost when we went to the ACC. I'm going to say we win that game.
Got him a W. Delaware.
Oh, that's got to be a win.
Checkbook game, yep. They're going to cut them a check and send them home. They're going to beat them like a drum. At East Carolina.
East Carolina has our number somehow, especially down in East Carolina, but I'm going to go with Hokies on that one, too.
There we go. Hokie. Old Dominion.
I'm going to have to go with Hokies, yeah.
Clemson coming to town.
We were so close to beating them last year in the ACC championship game. I'm still going to have to give with our new quarterback. We don't know who our quarterback is going to be. I have to give that one to Clemson.
All right, 4-1. Then you go on the road in October at Boston College.
We've got to be Hokies on that.
All right, 5-1. October the 21st, the Tar Heels come to town.
I think we'll do well against the Tar Heels again too.
Duke at home.
Duke at home. Duke is a tough one too. They're getting better and better every year. It's a home game. I got to give it the Hokies again.
I love it when it gets right down to the Hokies. All right, in November, pretty tough schedule. Yeah. In November, you go down to Miami and take on Mark Richt and the Hurricanes down there.
Miami, I may have to give that one to Miami.
All right. Then you come back up a little closer to home. You go to Atlanta, take on Georgia Tech.
We'll take care of Georgia Tech.
All right. Then you come back home, the final home game against the Pitt Panthers.
Another team that inexplicably has our number. But I'm to go with the Hokies on that one as well.
All right. And then...
Oh, that's a given.
Spoken like a true Hokie. The Cavaliers, man, it's going to be a butt-kicking time. So you got them 10-2.
10-2, and I think we lose to Florida State probably in the championship game.
ACC championship. So, hey, you go 10-2. Second year, Justin Fuente.
Now, I'm a Hokie fan, so I would think we're going to win all of those, but I kind of... I got to see. We're going to lose a couple just so I'm not biased, you know. So.
I like it. But he thinks he'll go 12-0. That's the way you got to think. That's how winners think. We're going to go 12-0. If not, we'll go 10-2. So, good stuff. Man, I appreciate you. Can you come back in a couple of weeks and do this again?
Yes, sir, I can.
Promote it again, because anytime, as I say this 100 times, you watch this show, we had over 2,300 views. Yesterday, our biggest show yet was Friday. We had 3,200 folks watching.
Wow.
They're still watching because it's archived. You can go back and watch it over and over. But if you watch this show, you know I'm all about promoting the Lord because it's His show. This show's only go as far as He wants it to go. And as we have said, let's see, a week from Monday, we're going to be doing our show in West Virginia. Hardee's has asked us to go up there and start doing some shows at some Hardee's, and we'll be up in Charleston a week from Monday. So the show's going out on the road. So having said all that, my point of this is anytime I can promote the Lord, I'm going to do it because why would I not? He went up and hung on the cross for me. And I don't deserve that. None of us do, but He did it willingly. So here's a chance again to pray over these kids. And and I know we have folks in other states watching, so as Haley said, he's right. You don't have to be confined to praying for kids in Tennessee. Wherever you're watching the show, pray for the students in those schools because they need our prayer. It's a tough time for kids, and they're under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of temptations that I don't remember having when I was a kid. I don't know about you, but I'm a lot older than you. But these kids need our prayer. So
yes, they do.
Pray for studentstn.com. Or, again, if you want to find out more about his organization, firstprioritybr.org. Here's a dumb question. Is there first priority chapters or organizations in every state or just Tennessee?
Not in every state, but there's 33 cities right now with first priorities in them most of them across the southeast, but they're in California, Michigan, Cincinnati.
There you go. So it's good, and there's chance for expansion there, too.
Oh, yes.
Obviously. Yep. So, hey, see you in a couple of weeks. Come back again. Hokie. I love it. He says, we're 10-2, going to lose in the ACC championship and go to a big bowl game. And you know what? I will say this. I like the Hokies. And he made a good point, and we'll take a break. In the fall, on a Saturday afternoon, as far as a postcard Norman Rockwell setting, it does not get much better than Lane Stadium.
No,
the trees and the fall foliage and
the Hokie Stone is amazing. All the buildings built out of the Hokie Stone and the colors of the leaves. Even just driving into campus is gorgeous.
A little nip in the air up there in Blacksburg on a Saturday afternoon, and full sun, beautiful day, and
then if you get a Thursday night ball game too,
it's crazy
in the fall.
It's
It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Get you some lunch. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We'll talk NASCAR. As I said, I kept saying silly season's upon us. That's what they call on all these drivers hop from team to team. Well, a big one hopped yesterday, not by his own choosing, but a big one hopped and another one took his place. We'll tell you all about that coming up next year live at Chick-Fil-A, show number 555. And they said it wouldn't last. We'll be right back right after you hear this.
This is the place where you can forget all about work for a while and celebrate the good old U.S. of A. And take in the best bumper-banging, fist-waving, hero-making short track race of the year, the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And kids' tickets are just $10. Be there August 19th, because it ain't just another race. It's Bristol, baby.
Trucks, and more trucks at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. We have a huge selection of over 400 new Silverados to choose from, with over 700 total Chevrolets in stock, with savings that are bigger than our massive selection. Silverado Double and Crew Cab All-Stars, $11,000 off MSRP. Malibu LT, 20% off. 17 Colorado, $19,995. 17 Equinox, $21,445. Don't miss out on one of the best times to buy a new Chevrolet with savings that will leave you asking, how do they do that? At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now, some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Michael, the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate you being with us again on this Wednesday. We're live at Chick-Fil-A. It is lunchtime, and oh boy, it's hopping too. It is hopping. Smokehouse barbecue bacon sandwich, grilled chicken with brown sugar and pepper blend. I love that lady. We are having a free car seat safety check today from 1 to 3 o'clock right here, courtesy of the Johnson City Police Department. Thank you, dear. Miss Connie. I tell you what, she was here yesterday doing that Cal Appreciation Day, and she looked plumb tuckered out. She had a big time today. Had a lot of folks here yesterday. So a free car safety seat check today from 1 to 3, courtesy of the Johnson City Police. Also, Smokehouse barbecue bacon sandwich. There you see it right there. On the wrong screen. Up on this screen, rather. There you go. You can't beat it. Again, The brown sugar and pepper blend bacon. Miss Connie says the bacon's like candy. Topped with Colby Jack cheese and smokehouse barbecue sauce. Served on a toasted sweet yeast bun and available for a limited time. And then you want to chase it with the watermelon mint lemonade. Woo! Fresh squeezed Chick-Fil-A lemonade mixed with natural watermelon and mint flavors. Again, also the diet lemonade as well for a limited time for the summertime. Of course, you can't go wrong with the peach milkshake either. So it's all good right here. Again, at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. NASCAR news. Here we go. I promised you'd have some changes, and boy, do we have some changes. Goodness gracious sakes alive. Let's run them down for you. We told you last week, we told you yesterday, we were Phil's Dream Bid, that Matt Kenseth is out as the driver. According to Kyle Busch, he's out as a driver again for the number 20 ride next year. Kyle Busch said in an interview in Kentucky Speedway, more than likely he'll be out of the car. Well, guess what? It has been made official. Eric Jones will drive the number 20 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota effective next year. Currently driving the 77 for Furniture Row Racing. He'll take over from Matt Kenseth, who's 45, who has driven the number 20 since 2013. And again, according to Joe Gibbs Racing statement, Kenseth will not be back with the organization following the 2017 season. Here's the quote from Joe Gibbs. Matt has been a tremendous asset to our organization over the past 5 seasons, both on and off the track. He's been a great teammate and a great ambassador for our sponsors. We've had a great deal of respect for him. We are working hard to get the 20 team into the playoffs to make a run for the championship. We have a great deal of confidence in his abilities to do just that. And so Eric Jones now will take over next year. Jones' first season in the Monster Energy Series, he has 5 top 10 finishes in his first 18 races, including a season-best 3rd place showing at Pocono. Jones has 8 victories in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and 7 wins in the Camping World Truck Series. And of course, he's won at Bristol, so he is in, and so Matt Kenseth is out. Now, how does this complicate things? Now the talk continues to take a look at Matt Kenseth going from Joe Gibbs Racing to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s ride, and so he is, it's public information, but he has openly tweeted and texted Dale Jr. saying, what do I need to do to put my name in the hat? And I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. A guy of his caliber is automatically in the hat. So here's what Barney Visser says, the owner of Furniture Row Racing, regarding today's announcement that Eric Jones will drive for Joe Gibbs next year. Our commitment to Jones and the 77 team remains the same for the remainder of the season. Our goal is to get Eric Jones into the playoffs, make a run for the championship, and get Rookie of the Year honors, which is pretty classy, given the fact his driver just said, I'm leaving halfway through the season. We just hit the halfway point 2 weeks ago in Daytona. We are working on our team plans for 2018. We don't have anything concrete to report at this time, except that Martin Truex Jr. will continue to drive the 78 Furniture Row Racing Toyota. Here, I love this quote from Barney Visser. He's the owner of the team. He says, if we don't have him, we'll have somebody else. If he leaves, and I'm fairly certain he will, I think leaving after 1 season is most likely, and we kind of knew that, but we will have somebody else in that car for the 77 ride coming up next season for Furniture Row Racing. As we, again, take a look, points look like this. Kyle Larson with a 1-point lead over Martin Truex Jr. Then comes Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Jamie McMurray, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Clint Boyer, the top 10 in points. Then comes Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano. So that's what's going on there. A couple of other NASCAR notes since yesterday. Richmond Raceway planning a $30 million infield renovation plan. It was revealed yesterday at RIR. It's called Richmond Raceway Reimagined, and so should be ready to go for September of next year. What's going to be happening? A new garage area for NASCAR's Premier Series is planned, a fan viewing walkway, an inspection station overlook, 2 new garage suites to put fans closer to pre-race preparations. Also at Richmond, the renovation, new pedestrian tunnel, 80 new RV parking spaces, a social engagement area. I don't know what that is. Also, Victory Lane will be moved from its current location behind the pit wall at Richmond to within closer view of the track's main grandstands. And so all that happening again, beginning immediately and hoping to be done by September of 2018. And then one other NASCAR news since yesterday, Kevin Harvick and his wife Delaney have announced they are soon to be parents again. The little brother, 5-year-old Keelan Harvick, announced that I'm going to have a little baby sister. And so Delana, who turned 44 on Friday, she is now with child, and they plan to, the second child's due, I should say, in 2018. So that's some of the news going on in and around NASCAR again on this Wednesday. Of course, racing action takes to the surface in New Hampshire coming up on Friday. Again, they'll get cranked up there. The winner of the race from a year ago there was Kyle Busch in the Xfinity Series, and also the runner-up, or not the runner-up, but the winner of the Cup Series last year was Matt Kenseth. So interesting, the week he gets booted to the curb, he's going to a track he won at last year. So it's all interesting, and it continues to be they call it the silly season for a reason. All these drivers are moving around. And again, reminding you for tickets for Bristol, again, the countdown is on. We're 35 days away from the truck races on Wednesday night. 35 days from today. The Food City 300 on the ball cap, we are 37 days out from that, and 38 days away from America's Night Race, the Bass Pro Shop NRA Night Race. Tickets, 423 Bristol, 1-866-415-4158, or just go to the computer and type in bristoltix.com. So that's what's going on with NASCAR, and it continues to evolve and change. Again, the big seat out there will be the number 88 seat from Dale Jr. We'll see how that goes, and will Kenseth get it? Talk is now he will get that ride for a year or two until they can get these youngsters to get developed, and William Byron looks like the guy's going to be the one who's going to be in the seat. More than likely, it's not a guarantee. I will bet the house it's not Alex Bowman. But again, I think it'll be William Byron. But I think everything's kind of shaping up for Kenseth to drive it for a year or two for Rick Hendrick Motorsports. Why would you not? You got Nationwide with a $20 million sponsorship set behind you, so there'd be no reason why you wouldn't do that. So stay tuned. It continues. Then you look at what's going to happen with Casey Kane. Who's going to replace Matt Kenseth? Or not replace Matt Kenseth. Where's he going to go, obviously? And then, of course, Danica Patrick's kind of always out there as an X factor, too. Quick break. We'll go from NASCAR to baseball. Big game last night. Home Run Derby. Second half of the season. Appalachian League Baseball. The guy that knows all about it, our buddy Greg Salyer with the Major League Baseball update next year, live at Chick-Fil-A on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
We're back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We're live again here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City, and having a big time. And there he is. Get him on, of course, our buddy, our dear friend, and he does a phenomenal job. He's not Tom Taylor. He's Greg Salyer, the Major League Baseball update. And so we always, first off, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Hey, Tom. I'm great. How are you?
Yeah. Great. Picnic tonight, right?
Yeah. We're excited.
I'm going off the high dive.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fishery Park Pool in Irwin.
Fishery Park Pool. I'm going off the high dive. Do a can opener. Maybe once. Maybe I'll just take. I don't hurt something, pull something, or whatever. But
yeah, don't get hurt. But no, I came in dressed for it today.
Oh,
yeah. I got the shorts and the sandals on and ready to picnic. So
it's gonna be. What I need to bring? Watermelon or?
Oh, watermelon would be great. Yeah.
I can pick up a couple melons in Food City and bring some watermelon.
Yeah, watermelon would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's great picnic food.
I don't know how I keep it cold. I get there, but even warm watermelon's good, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
So watermelon's watermelon. I like this, guys. Just bring it. We don't
care. Yeah, we'll eat it.
Yeah.
We'll eat it. My kids will eat it if it's hot.
There you
if
go.
it's cooked, they'll eat it.
The Salyer kids will eat it, and the Taylor kids will eat it. So we'll have our own picnic. So we don't care. I can eat hot watermelon, cold watermelon. I don't care, man.
Oh yeah.
You know what's inside a watermelon? What's good for you? What it has? Because watermelon's really, of course, it has water, obviously, for your body, but it really has, it's chock full of potassium, and it's chock full of vitamin D, among other things, and some vitamin C. So, in all seriousness, watermelon's really good to eat. It's good for you in a lot of ways, and I'm glad because I can flat go through a watermelon.
Yeah, we go through a lot at our house, too.
Oh, yes. Good stuff. So, anyway, it's going to be tonight at Fishery Park in Irwin, and looking forward to getting up on the diving board and just relax and have a good time fellowshipping and have a good evening with the kids. And it usually has a big crowd too. So
yeah, usually a pretty good turnout for it.
Yeah. Is Wendy going off the diving board, your wife?
No.
All right, number 2, she won't get in the water.
No.
Okay. Moving on. All right. Took care of those two. We're live here again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. We always dedicate our show to the man who hung on the cross. Haley was here earlier from First Priority, and he read the verse of the day. And so I want Pastor Greg, who does our Major League Baseball update, to also read the verse of the day because you can't ever promote the Lord enough. And today's verse out of the book of Psalms says,
"Wait on me, I will show you my ways. I will teach you my paths. I will lead you in truth. I am the God of your salvation." Psalm 25, verses 4 and 5.
Pretty strong, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
wait
absolutely.
on me. I was telling Haley earlier, how many people don't wait on him and got ahead of him, and it's a train wreck?
Yeah, I think we've all done that a time or two in life. And, it never works out, that's for sure.
No, do it his way. It's always better when you do it his way. Trust me. I can tell you that from first-hand experience. Last night, All-Star game. Robinson Cano and the American League, and kind of give me an overview. What'd you think?
Yeah, if you like a good pitcher's duel, last night was a good game. You know, Robinson Cano got the MVP. He's only the 4th player ever in All-Star game history to hit an extra inning home run. And the last time it was done before last night was exactly 50 years ago to the day when your all-time favorite player, and he was in the stadium last night as well.
Really?
Yeah, threw out one of the first pitches last night there in Miami. They had a Hispanic night, and a lot of the Hispanic Hall of Famers were there to throw out first pitches. Even Roberto Clemente's widow was there to throw out a first pitch last night. So it was a good thing. But yeah, the first extra inning home run since 1967.
All the Big Red Machine, you can line them up, and I walk right past Rose and Bench and Morgan. I walk right past them to get a bucket list snapshot picture beside my all-time favorite player, Tony Perez. Wore his number when I played, and I played first base, so called him Doggy. The thing they said about him in the clubhouse, Rose, Bench, all these guys said he was kind of the glue, because whether he went 4 for 4 or 0 for 4, he was still the same guy. He just kind of just took things as they were, and anyway, he did it 50 years ago last night. Robinson Cano did it last night. American League 5th straight All-Star game. Now, all these pundits I read about this morning on all the different sports services I go to, they all said it was a boring game because there wasn't any more runs scored. Well, it's obvious we are going towards an offensive-minded baseball, Major League Baseball, with all the home runs and what have you, but what's wrong with the pitcher's duel? I mean, it looked like pretty good stuff to me when I saw the highlights.
Yeah, nothing at all wrong with it. It wasn't boring because the score was close the whole game. It was either 0-0 or 1-0 or 1-1 until the 10th inning. So, I like an exciting game when it's close and you never know who's going to win. When somebody gets on base in a game like that, a home run could be the winning run. So, always an exciting game, I think, and I enjoy the game. The pitchers pitched well. The hitters, some of them hit well, some of them not so well. But, I thought it was a good game.
Hit it off. I know you enjoyed this, being a Reds fan. Hit off the Cubs reliever. Wade Davis jacked him out of the ballpark with a home run. So it runs deep, even in the All-Star games. Boy, I hate that for him. That Cub guy got lit up.
Yeah.
Hit him and hit the home run. American League scored the game's first run of the 5th inning when Miguel Sano hit a perfectly weighted bloop single into shallow right field. Zimmerman and Bryce Harper dove for the ball and couldn't get it. Yadier Molina tied the game with a 380-foot home run in the 6th inning off of Santana from Minnesota. It stayed that way until Cano went deep again in the extra innings. So, the argument was, again, that not enough offense and we need more offense and defense. It was a boring baseball game, but, I disagree. What was your take on, see, I'm old school, so you probably know where I'm going to go with this. Who was it got the picture taken with Joe West?
Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz gets ready to get up the bat. He hands Molina, the catcher from the All-Star team, the National League, to take a picture of Country Joe West, one of those long-tenured umpires, and Nelson Cruz at home plate in the middle of the game. I'm thinking, what's next? And I thought, I thought it was okay, but then I'm thinking, this is going to open up the door to more goofy stuff, and so being a traditionalist, I don't know. It didn't do much for me. What do you think? You okay with it?
You know what? I'm normally a traditionalist too, but I'm okay with it. I thought it was hilarious. I'm sitting there watching it, and just to see Country Joe West, like, what are you doing? The look on his face, and it's a game in which you get to see the players' personalities more so than you do in a regular season game. So I liked it personally. I don't want to see everybody coming up and doing it now, but it's the first time it's ever been done. So I thought it was something that brought out Cruz's personality a little bit. We learned a little bit about him, and I thought it was great.
I just hope it doesn't open up the floodgates like it did in the National Football League. When they make a touchdown, they all go through the dance and something stupid. So I hope they won't let that happen. Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred says a couple of things. Number one, the baseballs are not juiced. He said everybody says the baseballs are juiced. He says they are not.
Yeah.
And then number two, he's talking about expansion. Montreal, Charlotte, and Mexico City are the front runners to get new baseball teams in the not too distant future. First off, are the baseballs juiced?
No, probably not. I don't think so. I don't think they're any harder than they've been for the past 30 years. The thing about it is the players do not have to generate quite as much power as they used to have to generate because the pitchers are throwing the ball harder. Let's face it. There's more guys throwing 100 miles an hour than there's ever been before in baseball. Carlos Martinez last night in the game. I have the number here somewhere. He threw all the pitches except one that were at least 100 miles an hour in that game last night. He threw 7 of the 8 pitches that were 100 miles an hour or more in that game, and Craig Kimbrell threw the other one.
So the law of what is it? I wanted to say not law of ethics, the law of stick the bat out at 100 mile an hour, put the wood on it, it's going to go somewhere.
It's going to go somewhere. Yeah, but then you got these guys. I mean, the home run derby. Monday night, Aaron Judge.
Would you call me sometime, please? You did? You did. I'm very sorry. Lasagna?
Gonna say, what did he call you?
We get to find it. I'm working on this gig. Yes, that's why you need to call me. If you'll call me the next day or two, I may have an answer for you. So we may be gigging together again this year. Okay. Call him by Friday, yep. My man Don Shepard. Love that guy. Did ball games with him. He's good. He's a good one.
Yeah.
So he's like that Japanese car. He's a nice one. So.
Nice one, yeah.
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I want to say hi to my buddy. I love that guy right there. So good Christian man, as you are as well, of course. So balls. So what were we talking about? The ball being changed?
Yeah, we were talking about Aaron Judge and just the way he hit the ball in the home run derby the other night. If you watched that, how many balls did he not square up that went out? I mean, most of these guys, they have to square it up. They have to hit it right on the button and to get it to go. This guy is phenomenal. He's 6'7", 280 pounds. He's a monster.
Specimen.
Yeah, 25 years old. He is at his physical peak probably right now at 25. But
guy hit a home run on top of the roof.
Yeah. What was it? 513 feet that he hit, the longest one.
He had 4 home runs over 500 feet.
Yeah.
He just hammers it.
Yeah. So I think the players are bigger. They're stronger.
Sure.
The pitchers are throwing harder. They don't have to generate as much power, and I don't think it has anything to do with the balls.
Expansion: Montreal, Charlotte, Mexico City. Okay with those?
Wouldn't it be great to see a team in Charlotte? Wouldn't it be awesome? Be able to drive a couple 3 hours down to Charlotte and see a major league game.
Yeah, that's where you said they're headed.
Yeah,
not too distant future.
And they want to get out of the United States as well. So I understand Montreal and Mexico City. I kind of question Montreal a little bit because they weren't the greatest supporters of the Expos when they were there. So you kind of wonder, okay, is that a good move to go back there? Have they proven that they're going to be able to support a major league team in that city?
As you see on this, they were in the fight a while ago. These 2 little kids.
There's some cuties there.
And the brother grabbed the sister and drug her downstairs. She turned to haul off and gave him a hay baler upside the head, and he started crying. He was dragging his little sister, and she said, "I've had enough of this." She's hauled off and smacked him. He started crying like 2 little bear cubs. Good stuff. We're here at Chick-Fil-A. I guess what we're going to jump into now is the second half of the season. You got some things?
Yeah, we can talk about the second half.
All right. Yeah. Here's one of the rumors. The Cubs they're calling Detroit about Michael Fulmer and Daniel Norris from Johnson City, who's on the DL right now, in exchange for Kyle Schwarber from the Chicago Cubs. Think that's going to happen?
That would be I think, to be honest, I think that would be a good move for both of those teams. I think it would be a good move. Schwarber has been one of the biggest disappointments in baseball this season. I think everybody expected him to come back. Of course, now he was hurt all season, but he came back in the World Series last year and just knocked the cover off the ball. He was the World Series hero, I think, for me last year. But this year he's been demoted. He's in Triple-A, but still a guy that has a lot of potential, a guy that can still hit the ball and will hit the ball, I think, in the future. But the Cubs need pitching. I mean, if you can look at them and say what's been their big problem this year, it's their pitching. Their pitching is not what it was last year. That's the reason they're not where they were at this point in the season last year.
Jake Arrieta heading for free agency this year. John Lester and John Lackey, as Greg alluded to, not having very good years at all, having rough seasons. So Cubs will have to address the rotation one way or the other. They're talking about unloading Kyle and again bringing in Daniel Norris from Johnson City in Detroit and also Michael Fulmer. So stay tuned. That's one of the things I'm reading about as there's some movement before the second half of the season starts. Braves looking at Chris Archer or Jose Quintana. What do you think?
Yeah, Jose Quintana has been on the market all season. There were rumors back in spring training as to who was going to get him, and nobody did. So, I think with Bartolo Colon gone, the Braves are going to have to do something there, and I would think that they will probably go after Quintana more than Archer because the Rays are still in it. I don't think they're going to have a fire sale. I think that they can still do something this year. They are a team that I think is going to surprise a lot of teams still to come in the second half of the season. So I would be surprised if the Rays go out and try to get rid of some pitching.
Coming up in just a minute, my man Anji's in the house. His preseason top 5 college football. We got NASCAR, the silly season, baseball, all kinds of stuff. Because he can talk about his Cubs and maybe Daniel Norris going to Chicago. Red Sox looking at the Marlins, Martin Prado, and also David Phelps. What do you think?
Boston's going to make a move or two. They're not going to stand still with what they've got. Prado, I don't know about. I think they're looking for somebody else that can come in and play third base. So that's probably why they're looking at him. But yeah, I mean, they need pitching as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. That'd be an interesting move if they make it.
Marlins interested in unloading D. Gordon. Royals are after him. Angels are after him. Blue Jays are after him. The Royals again. So there's lots of inquiries about D. Gordon, batting .295 right now, 29 years old, and having a pretty good year. I think he has 30-some stolen bases already. So there's one that the team's trying to look at to bolster.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want that speed in their lineup? Who wouldn't want a guy at the top of their lineup that can get on base like he can and then steal bases? So he's a playmaker. He's a guy that makes things happen, and he puts pressure on the other teams because of his speed. So very valuable player for a lot of teams out there.
Blue Jays, Sellers, third baseman Josh Donaldson, maybe starting pitcher Marcus Stroman, maybe out of there. So where do those guys go? Who needs them?
That'll be a fire sale if they do that. Don't be surprised if the Red Sox don't try to get Donaldson
for third base.
For third base, they would like to have a new third baseman. So, I think they thought that they could get rid of Travis Shaw, and I think they've realized really quickly that was a mistake because he's put up some good numbers there in Milwaukee. But yeah, don't be surprised, and a lot of teams will be after Stroman. If they put Stroman on the block, there's a lot of teams going to be after him.
Yankees looking for a first baseman. Chris Carter's been a bust, so they're trying to get him kind of bolster their first base play heading into the second half of the season. So there's a lot of names out there. You got some more too?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was looking at some things yesterday, and they're thinking about what are the Reds going to do? Are they going to keep Kozar? I heard some rumors they were trying to sign him to a multi-year deal. I think that would be a good move personally, but they'll either do that or they will trade him, I believe. And for me as a Reds fan, I'd like to see them keep him. He hit the second hardest ball hit in the All-Star game last night, by the way. That single he had in the third inning was the exit velocity, which, we get all these numbers now from StatCast. The exit velocity on that ball was the second hardest hit ball in the entire game last night. So, I'd like to see him keep him. He's had a phenomenal year so far, definitely deserved to start the All-Star game, and would like to see him stay there. But, the Reds are going to have to do something to get pitching. So I think if somebody makes them an overwhelming offer for anybody, it would probably happen at this point.
We're talking to our buddy Greg Sawyer, the Major League Baseball update coming up. We will talk to my man, the one, the only, Dave Anji's in the house. We'll have him coming on here in just a minute or two. And so, let's see. Before we go, let's do this real quick. I want to jump in here and take a look at Major League Baseball standings. I meant to do this earlier and didn't. So, pardon me while I move the papers around on the old screen. So, let's take a look at them. NL East, second half of the season. Washington with a 9.5 game lead over Atlanta. Miami 10.5 back. You see them giving up the division, or are they okay?
Washington's going to win that division. I don't think there's any doubt. They're going if they don't, they're going to go out and try to get some relief pitching. They've got the starters. If they can get a little bit more relief pitching, they're going to go far into October.
By the way, the second half of the season picks back up on Friday night. They're off tonight and tomorrow, and get ready to crank it back up on Friday. Central Division, Milwaukee 5.5 better than the Cardinals and the Cubs. Pittsburgh 7 back. The Reds only 9.5 back. So is that a wide open division?
It's wide open. It's wide open. I don't see the Reds coming back from 9.5 back, but I think any one of those other four teams can win that division.
Dodgers in the West with a 7.5 game lead over Arizona. Colorado 9.5 back. 3-team race.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest disappointments in baseball this year has been the Giants. Everybody thought they might be right there with the Dodgers this year, and they are, I think, the second worst team in baseball right now. But I think the Dodgers will have to lose that division. I believe. I think they're going to still stay strong. They've got the young hitting they need. They've got the pitching. Wood has been, I think, their biggest surprise as far as being on the mound. So I think Wood and Kershaw together have 20. There's records like 23-2 or something like that. So and Kershaw has both the losses. So yeah. So they've got the pitching, they've got the bats. I will say this: I watched the Diamondbacks play over the weekend against the Reds, and I was impressed. They're a better team than what I gave them credit for early in the season. So, don't count them out. I don't know that Colorado has enough to stay with those two teams in that division, but if it comes down to a two-team race, I'm thinking the Dodgers are going to win it.
American League East, pretty wide open. Boston with a 3.5 game lead over New York and Tampa Bay. Baltimore 7.5 back. Toronto 8.5 back. So any of those, I guess, can do it, although you'd have to look at probably at this point a 3-team race. Red Sox, Yankees, and Tampa Bay. But Baltimore's been a big disappointment, obviously. 4 under and 7.5 games out. But what do you think about the East?
Yeah, the Yankees have been a little streaky. They've had hot streaks and they've had cold streaks, and they finished the first half of the season on a real cold streak. So I think we're going to have to see how they come out after the All-Star break and see if they come out winning or losing. See if they can break that losing streak that they ended the first half with. I picked Boston at the beginning of the season to win that division, but I'm not sold on that. I think the Yankees could make a run. They've got those good young players. They're willing to make a move. They'll spend the money that they need to. They, like everybody else, they need some pitching as well. But we'll see what happens. I think one of the we talked about third base, but I think for the Red Sox, another big disappointment for them has been Rick Porcello this year, Cy Young Award winner last year, who definitely is not having the same season that he had last year. So, so I think that one's still a toss-up. And don't count the Rays out either. I mean, they're better than what a lot of people think.
Central Division, Cleveland 2.5 game lead over Minnesota. Kansas City 3 back. Probably the hottest team in baseball going into the break along with the Dodgers, although L.A. handled them pretty easily in a head-to-head series last weekend before the All-Star break. Kansas City 3 out, Detroit 8 out, Chicago 9 games out. Cleveland with a 2.5 game lead over Minnesota. Twins still for real?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Twins are still in it. I think Cleveland will probably end up winning that division, but don't be surprised if Minnesota gives them a really hard time. And and Kansas City, we were ready to write Kansas City off a month ago. We were ready to say, hey, they're done.
Talking about firing Ned Yost and everything.
Yeah, and they have proven that we were way too early in making those type of remarks.
Then the last division, the obvious, Houston's run away with it, 60-29, the best record in baseball, leading the Angels in Texas by 16.5. Have these guys punched their ticket to the World Series?
That division's going to be over by the beginning of September, I'm afraid. So, that one's not going to be much to watch in September. I think they're the odds-on favorite in the American League to go to the World Series. They have a phenomenal team. They have every aspect of the game covered, and they've shown it so far. I mean, two teams this year won 60 games before the All-Star break. Houston and the Dodgers, and a couple years ago, what were we saying about Houston? They couldn't beat anybody. It's only been maybe 3 years ago that we were talking about how terrible they are, and now look at them, the best team in the American League by far.
Church picnic tonight?
Yeah,
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Fishery Park Pool in Irwin.
I could see Angie out there going off the high dive.
Yeah,
doing a swan dive off the high dive.
Yeah, bring the family. Come be with us out there.
Family church picnic at a Fishery Park. Everything's free. I'm going to bring, how many watermelons do I need to bring? 2?
Yeah, if you bring 2, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, one for the Salyers.
2
one for
the Taylors. And a sharp knife.
And a sharp knife. So we'll bring a sharp knife and 2 melons. So there you go. And then on Sunday, you got the Gideons?
Yeah, we've got a Gideon speaker Sunday morning, and then I'll be preaching from the book of Amos on a famine of the word Sunday morning too. So kind of excited about that.
It's all good. So get something good to eat there, Big
Yes,
Daddy.
sir. Sure will.
Quick break. We'll be right back. We go from baseball to Angie. It's all you got to know. My man's in the house next here, live at Chick-Fil-A on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back live again. We're here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. He's in the house. I would pay, if he comes tonight, I'll put, I don't know what I'll put down, a 10 spot. I don't care what. If he comes and goes off the high dive, I'll bring some chicken, I'll bring some watermelon, him and the little lady, and any chance you can come to the picnic tonight and go off the board?
Man, I got to cover the Cardinals tonight, which isn't a bad thing. I love the Cardinals especially. It's all you can eat night out there.
Oh.
TVA Credit Union Ballpark.
Oh.
Just load up. I'm going to bring a shopping cart down there myself, and I'll be well fed probably tonight. But yeah, I'd love to make it. Those picnics are a good time, and I'll tell you this: I would go off the high dive, no doubt about that. Oh, no doubt, no doubt. No, that'd have to be something on the line, but yeah.
My pride, that's all it's on the line. My girth. So went out there and went off of one earlier in the year, and the lifeguard said, I come up out of the water, he said, It's embarrassing. He said, I've been lifeguarding here 4 years. That's the biggest splash I've ever seen in my life. I said, it's called gravity, buddy. It's called gravity. So anyway, good time tonight. If you get a chance to come by, it's going to be at Fishery Park, the church picnic. Good time will be had by all, I guarantee you. Man, where do we start? Got all kinds of stuff popping. Let's start with NASCAR. Matt Kenseth, since we were here last week, we continue to pound the drum about the silly season, and it's been made official. Kenseth is out. The second big-name driver out at Joe Gibbs Racing. Carl Edwards did it of his own volition a year ago. Kenseth out, Eric Jones in. Teammate Kyle Busch announced this Friday when they were in Kentucky today. I don't know if I should say this, but 77 is going to be, or Eric Jones is going to be driving the 20 car next year. So what's your take on all that? What's this do to the teams now? You've got Barney Visser coming out and saying for the 77 team, we're going to try and get him in the championship. Joe Gibbs finally comes out and says, we love Matt Kenseth. We're going to try and get the 20 into the championship. But, hey, these guys, I mean, he's out. He's gone. So your thoughts on this first off as a whole, and then zero in on from the morale standpoint of these teams?
Well, you know, when you're a race, a race team owner, you know drivers come and go. But your team has to endure and has to find a way to go on and keep as much momentum as possible. And we've talked a lot about making the chase and what that does for, retaining sponsors. Also, the big cash payouts you get for being in the playoffs, regardless of where you finish. So it's in everybody's best interest heading into next year to have the money and everything else and have everything on a solid foundation. Be able to afford to hire all those guys in the shop and pay more than other teams do, to kind of keep them. That's the other thing people don't think about. The behind-the-scenes stuff with the guys that build the cars, week in and week out. So, there's all that goes into it. To have a strong foundation, you have to get into that chase regularly or get most of your cars into it, or else you start falling off. And all those behind-the-scenes things nobody sees in the wind tunnel, and who you got building your cars, who you got on your pit crew, all that is related to that on the money side. So, that's why they're so big on getting those cars into the chase this year, regardless of the driver change. So, but if you're looking at Gibbs, this is a really common-sense move. They lent Eric Jones for 1 year over to Furniture Row, let him drive over there. Now they got to make a decision on what to do with him. He's coming back. In order to have room for him, you got to clear somebody out. And Kenseth at 45 years old is the guy to clear out at this point. Because, even though his first year with Gibbs, he was on fire, he's fallen off since then, pretty steadily. It's just age always catches up with any driver. So now you're going to have Joe Gibbs Racing with Eric Jones in the mix. Gives them a lot of young drivers. You got to look at it and say Kyle Busch is now the leader of the team over there. He is the elder statesman, which Kevin Harvick the other day, his quote on the whole deal was, he said, well, with Kenseth over there, he said that was really, the only sane leader on that team. So, of course, Harvick and Kyle Busch have had some issues over the years, but definitely from a leadership standpoint amongst the drivers, you're looking at Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch now, as odd as it seems, as being the veterans, as being the leaders of that team, and they're going to be the ones that are kind of in charge of keeping things moving forward with the young guys. But, I think it's a no-brainer for Gibbs just from the fact that you have a chance to get a young guy in there with his whole career in front of him, as opposed to a guy that you don't know how much longer he's driving anyway. Kenseth could tell him at the end of this year, that's it, and then who do you put in the 20? So it's a good move. Unfortunate for Kenseth, but he's going to land in a good ride next year.
So going forward, you'll have Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, and now Eric Jones, who's won at Bristol. Guy can drive a car, no question. And so it's a good move for Joe Gibbs. And, it's the youth movement across NASCAR and a youth movement, obviously, at Joe Gibbs. So Kenseth has tweeted and been pretty outspoken, pretty vocal about, I'd like to have that 88 ride for a year or two for Dale Jr. Is that the way they'll go? Will they put him in there for limited races and kind of platoon him with maybe William Byron or somebody else, or did they go ahead and hand him the keys and say, it's yours for a year or two?
I think that Matt Kenseth right now, in my mind, that's a big name out there, and he's a guy that over the years has proven to be really good with sponsors. He's had some long-standing sponsorships. Yep. DeWalt Tools, he took really good care of them for years upon years, and that's what's big with that 88 car if you're Hendrick when you look at the money side of it, because Junior has, obviously being the most popular driver, he's been able to retain, his sponsors for a long time, and the fan interest has been high for that. The thing people don't remember as much is Kenseth and Earnhardt came up to Cup the same year. They were rookies the same year, and have always been really good friends. So I could see some cross promotional stuff where you have him and Earnhardt doing commercials together. And so Junior can do some of the help with some of the sponsorship stuff, some of the commercial stuff, inject a little bit of personality into it. And then you have Kenseth, who's a rock-solid driver. In good equipment, he still has a chance to win races, still has a chance to make the chase, and he keeps sponsors happy. So right now, that's a sure bet out there. Now, it depends on whether Hendrick wants to roll the dice on a young driver like so many of these other owners have and see how that comes out. But it's with Chase Elliott just getting started, I don't know if they want to invest in another young driver, but of course that didn't bother Gibbs at all. So,
of course, Casey Kane also out there being a underachiever on that number 5 ride for Hendrick. So I think you nailed it last week. I think this gives him a reprieve because everything's focused on Junior, and I don't think they want to get rid of two drivers in the same year. So I think Kane may get himself another year simply because they're focusing on that 88, and so that remains to be seen. But lots going on, and then Kenseth lands there in the 88 ride. Of course, you still have the Danica scenario out there. What's going to happen with her? It's interesting time to say the least in NASCAR. Kyle Larson, bonehead move. I didn't know about this. You told me during the break. Bonehead move. I'm getting ready to tell you. I'm going to preface what Dave's getting ready to say. This is why NASCAR is not doing like they should be doing. And I've said all along on this show, they're not pressing the flesh and kissing babies like they used to. Case in point, the Kingsport Speedways, the dirt track guys, they'll go anywhere. I mean, every week I have a driver come on the show, thanks to Bill Patrick, promoting the Kingsport Speedway, Lonesome Pine, short track racing here locally, or dirt track racing. That's the way the big boys used to do it. And now you have Kyle Larson come out and say something really stupid. What did he say last week?
Yeah, he had a tweet last week when there was a discussion that was started, I think, by Jeff Gluck, who's a pretty good NASCAR rider, a guy I've known for a little while. But he started the discussion of why aren't there as many drivers out at the haulers signing autographs for the fans out there in the merchandising area. And Kyle Larson chimed in with they're only going to pay me $50 to go down there. That's not worth my time. It's not worth my time to go down there for $50. When I could be doing other things to kind of help the race team. Now, I think with these young drivers, you got to realize, and it's hard to wrap your head around when you're an older guy like I am, but these guys born in the early 90s, they've known nothing but NASCAR being a gravy train, being prosperous. That's the sport at that time was bulletproof and was up until about 2005. Then you started to see some fall off, but it just does not. To these guys, their money comes from sponsors and it comes from the television deal. That's where money comes from to them. The television deal is in place for the next 8 years or so. So that money's there. They're getting that money. Of course, they keep their sponsors happy. They get the sponsorship money. They know how that works. But it's kind of a disconnect. There's so many people in the middle. They forget that it's ultimately fans is where their money comes from. Now, Richard Petty's 80 years old, and if you go anywhere, Richard Petty will stand there and sign everything put in front of him for hours. And the reason is, when he started, and he's said this before many times, when he started, his money came directly from the gate.
Sure.
How many people were in those grandstands? So he knew week after week, after every race, he'd stand there, tired, hot, whatever, and sign everything in the whole world because he knew those people had to come back next week or else that purse was going to fall. He wasn't going to make enough money to be out there. Absolutely. And he was feeding his family based directly. There was no middleman. It was coming directly from the fans. The old school drivers saw that and knew that firsthand. These guys don't. So I'll give him a pass on that, but I hope somebody educates him about that at some point because he's a really exciting driver. But, yeah, he needs to get his head on straight, and I'm sure a lot of other young drivers are in that same boat.
I tell the story every time we get on this topic. Last year up at the Speedway, up at BMS, there stood the King signing everything, and I said, why do you sign? I mean, why do you do it? You don't have to do it. He turned around and said, boy. And I thought, yeah. Turned around and looked up and he said, see those up there, those fans? That's what made me in the sport. He said, we can't forget them. And the young guys have. Clearly Kyle Larson misspoke. That was really a stupid thing to say. And so I think that's where they are. And you can see this never more evident than at Food City Family Race Night, where the big boys don't come out anymore like they used to. And if they do, and say, I've never understood this, I'm going to get on my soapbox here, but you have to get a wristband and stand in line on a day like today and wait, and they're going to sign something from 4 to 5 or 5 to 6, and at 6 o'clock, I don't care if they got a line from here to Jonesboro. These guys get up and leave, and I mean, that's, you have people stand out there all day long in the sun. You don't do that. That's negative PR. You just do not do that. And so another story, in here on Saturday mornings on Thunder Valley Nationals. I'm in here with the girls getting something to eat, and one of the drivers of the drags was here, NHRA. We're here getting something to eat before they went to the track, and a lady stood right over there and said, "Are you such and such?" I said, "Yeah, I am." She says, "Can I have your picture?" The guy sets his food down on the table, on the counter, puts his arm around her, gets the picture, signs the back of her shirt with a Sharpie, and they got a fan for life. It took him a minute and a half, 2 minutes to do that, and that's what you do, and so that's what they're not doing. Again, I'm going to name names. I've seen drivers get off those golf carts at Bristol, and right there on turn 3 where all those fans line up on the fence, and I've seen them get off and never even look at them. Never mind, there's people waving stuff and wanting them to sign stuff. They don't even wave at them. It's like they're invisible. And they can walk right on down the tunnel to go to the infield, and I'm thinking, guys, you're missing the whole boat here. That's what made this sport. So for him to say that was not a smart thing. So hopefully, and you said they pulled it off there pretty quick.
Yeah, well, it was up for quite a while, and I'm thinking, somebody told me it came down, but this is what really bothers me about Larson, too, is the fact that when he first started in his career, there was a picture that he was showing, the media and everybody else, where it was Jeff Gordon, young Jeff Gordon, holding Kyle Larson, and getting a picture with him. And, Kyle Larson said, man, that was such a thrill, and that kind of got me excited about racing, got me into racing. My question is, how much do they pay Jeff Gordon for that? Probably nothing. Jeff Gordon just had the common sense to know that you got to meet fans, because that, especially kids, because the fact is, if this sport's going to be around in 20 years, there's going to have to be people that have grown up with it. That's the way NASCAR is. It's really hard to convert people into motorsports fans, and that's true for IndyCar, NHRA, anything. It's hard to convert people over to that if you're trying to convert adults to get into it. But if you get kids watching it when they're young, that's huge. And, with such a young group of drivers, it's a golden opportunity, because kids can relate to these guys because they're not much older, and they're out there doing amazing things. So I'm telling you, this is NASCAR's chance right now to capture a new generation of fans, and they need that sorely right now.
And the other thing is very tough. Once your favorite driver retires, be it Gordon or Tony Stewart or Junior, then NASCAR is responsible to try and get Dave Onge, who followed Junior, to go, okay, he's gone, but I'm going to like Ryan Blaney now. Because a lot of them, when Earnhardt died, Earnhardt Sr., they just went away from the sport.
Yeah.
Once he was gone, they're gone. So if you keep having the attrition factor, and you will, you've got Junior on the wings getting ready to retire next 3 or 4 years, probably Jimmy Johnson, certainly Matt Kenseth, maybe Ryan Newman, some of the older guys. And so their fans, if NASCAR doesn't get them to convert over to another driver because their guy's gone, you're going to lose even more fans. So last question before we switch to college football. Are you surprised Keselowski is not a Team Penske continues? We've talked about this about 4 or 5 weeks. Still no contract extension for Keselowski. Is Penske, they send out by not saying anything, are they saying a lot?
Yeah, this is it's shocking to me because of the fact that seems like such a good partnership. And I've thought that, I don't think people understood Brad Keselowski very well. Sometimes the sponsor-driver relationship is huge. It can define a driver. I think if you get the right sponsor, somehow fans can connect with you a little bit better. I think Keselowski and Miller Lite, when he got in that car, it kind of clicked. I think he got really comfortable, and I think fans got comfortable with him. And I think him at Penske is obviously, the crew chief combination with Paul Wolf and himself has been just money. So I don't understand, in an environment where there's so many big rides out there. You could potentially have a ride at Stewart-Haas Racing. You have the 88 car. You have the 5 car possibly. You look at that potentially 2 rides at Hendrick. You have a champion driver of this caliber, and you're at this point of the year and you haven't found a way to lock him up yet. There's something going on there. Either, Keselowski doesn't want to sign the deal and he wants to go somewhere else, or, Penske, there's something going on with sponsorship, or, there's something internally that's not working. But, it's very curious. That to me is the biggest mystery of the season thus far.
Well, and here's the other, we'll throw this one out on the table, and then we'll take a break, come back and switch gears. But Dodge is coming back in 19.
Yeah.
Last time they won in the Cup Series, Keselowski was driving the Dodge for Penske. They're going to come back. Obviously, they're going to come in with a new manufacturer with a big name. They're not going to have Tom Taylor or Dave Onge on. Well, Dave's a big name, but they're not going to have me in there. They're going to have some big dog, high-profile name. And so maybe it may be more Keselowski than it is Team Penske, because Dodge is coming. O'Donnell said NASCAR, we have every intention of having the fourth manufacturer in NASCAR in the not-too-distant future, which would be Dodge. So I'm thinking in the back of my mind either he or Carl Edwards could be a real big name and a high-profile name to bring back with Dodge. It would make sense to use Keselowski because he drove him before. That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, and the thing with Keselowski, too, is he's a guy that, in order to get into a car in the first place, I've always respected this about him because he comes from a racing family. His dad was a great racer on the Truck Series and ARCA and a lot of other places. But before he could get into a truck himself, Keselowski had to turn wrenches and work on his dad's truck to learn what it's like to put together a vehicle. And then if it goes out there and get torn up, what the work is that happens as a result of that. So, he's one of those guys that to me seems like he could be interested maybe in being offered a stake in a race team the way Tony Stewart was, because I think there's some similarities there between those two guys. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was raised that way a lot too. He's got kind of the background where he's interested in the mechanical side of it and all that. He's got his own Xfinity Series team that he's been very successful with and is going to work on once he retires. So I think drivers think about that a little bit. Looking at Tony Stewart and Earnhardt getting ready to be after this year, the only way you can really be involved in the sport hands-on after you're done driving and your driving career is over is to be a team owner. And there's not a lot of opportunities or a lot of ways to do that. And if there's one being dangled out there, I could see that being really appealing to Keselowski.
Well put. Great information, my man Anji. Quick break. We'll switch gears. We've got a few minutes left to talk a little college football. We'll get his preseason top 5. I'll bet you out of this top 5, one of those will be the Maize and Blue, right?
Could be. Got to wait till after the commercial.
Oh, Lord. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. This guy's a piece of work. We're getting ready to, won't be today, next Wednesday, I promise you, we're going to unveil the name of this. We got something cooking. Anji and I, it's going to be really, really cool. Can't wait. But I got to wait and put the finishing touches on, get everything done. We'll make that announcement
We're starting
week.
a Dodge race team. Yeah, we're not. No, it's not that. It's not that. Because, I learned long ago, they told me, if you ever want to make a small fortune in racing, you start with a large fortune. That's what they said. So we won't be doing that, but it'll be big. So
I'm going to be the crew chief on his car. I'm the wrench turner. And I don't know a 9/16 from a 3/4. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're here at Chick-Fil-A. We'll talk a little college football in our remaining moments here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one-and-done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back live with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We got a few minutes left here. We are going to run over just a smidgen. That's okay because it's our show. It's on Facebook. And, again, like us and share us. Dave does. And, of course, he always does a great job promoting us on his Twitter handle, and we appreciate that. And so if you're watching the show, wherever you may be, like us and share us. And also, before we get into high school football and some SEC football, Media Days continues now for the Southeastern Conference. Be sure and enter to win tickets to Dollywood. TomTaylorSports.com/contest. We're up to 5 states now. Of course, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, Ohio, and West Virginia folks have put their name in the bucket. First name, last name, your town you're from, obviously, so we're going to talk about that, and your email address. That's all we want. It's all thanks to Jeremy Livesey at JeremyLivesey.com. Again, the gentleman who's putting up one of our great sponsors, putting up the moolah, or actually just bought the tickets. So we'll give them away a week from Friday. Next Friday we'll give them away. You can use them now. You can use them in the fall. You can use them at Christmas. They're good at the end of the calendar year. And the beauty of it, too, is once these are free, or since you win them, you can go down and you can get a season pass for 2018 for a reduced rate because the tickets are free now. So I've forgotten about that, and that's a pretty cool thing. So please consider doing that. Folks have been, and we'll thank you ahead of time for that. We switch from NASCAR to a little bit of football. Let's talk first off on the local scene, a little high school football. What's going on right now?
I'll tell you, 7-on-7 time. Big for all these teams. Kind of get out there, get in a little bit of rhythm. Getting ready to go into the fall camps, which come up really quick because of the fact that school starts really quick. They'll be back in school like 2nd or 3rd of August in Johnson City, so it's different than it used to be, because I remember back in the old days, you do your two-a-days pretty much run into August, and now, of course, you got school in the equation, so it kind of mixes it up. But, yeah, teams are really starting to kind of solidify, the two deep and see where everybody's going to be and, where their players are going to be at, and really going to be an exciting year, I think. You can get some of more of those local games back with the change in classifications and all that going on, and you can have some different and some exciting, non-conference games too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to go pretty well. Just looking forward to it. I know Elizabethton's excited. Science Hill's excited. They got a lot at Crockett. Gerald Sensabaugh down there coaching. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do his first year down there. Great quarterback for him and a lot of players around. Of course, that's been a good foundation that he's inheriting down there. A lot of good football going to be played this fall. Looking forward to that.
Also to Benjamin Hoff and also Jason Hash. Hi, guys. Thank you. Also J.T. Holloman. Appreciate you all very much. And, again, Bill Patrick and Chip Pratt. Andrea Peace. Hello, young lady. Appreciate you. Chip Pratt and Bill Patrick from the Kingsport Speedway. Thanks to some of the folks that are watching and listening here on the show. Like us and share us, of course, as we said, and we'll thank you ahead of time for that. So high school football right around the corner, and again, it's going to be a big season. And of course, you're going to be covering the Science Hill Hilltoppers, and they've got Media Day coming up, and it's all exciting times right now because everybody's undefeated right now.
Everybody is. Everybody's undefeated, and it's one of those deals where just looking at it this year, there's so many exciting players coming back at so many of the different schools around here, and just a lot to be fired up about. The coaching in this area that these kids get is just so good. You know, when you look at Stacy Carter at Science Hill, you know, the job he's done for so many years. Of course, Graham Clark at DB, who I've liked and respected for a long time, and he's never going to give you a dull quote. So Jeremy Jenkins too, just fantastic job, and Witten up there at Elizabeth, and just it makes for good football, and it's just going to be fun to get out there on Friday nights. I'm looking forward to the fall.
Talking to our buddy Dave Anja again on the screen. The Johnson City Press will switch gears to SEC Media Days again today. You've got the man at the podium in Hoover, Alabama, Nick Saban from the Crimson Tide, one of the coaches there. Had Butch Jones there on Monday. Butch spent a lot of time defending the program. I don't know if you saw the press conference, but I read about some of the pundits sitting out in the crowd and said, man, this guy's like a cliche machine. Just talk to us. And he gets a lot of criticism for that.
Yeah, and it's, you know, he's been – I've said this about him since he's gotten there. It was amazing when he got to Tennessee, because there was nothing really to be excited about after the end of the Dooley era, because that was – you know, you want to talk about Dusty Rhodes' hard times. Those were hard times down there, Tom. But he came in and spun it like, you know, this was the center of the college football universe. And he did it with cliches. He did it with good marketing. He came up with brick by brick everything else. And lo and behold, he goes out on the recruiting trail with that. And he's reeling in athletes left and right that nobody thought Tennessee had any chance of getting. Every year they have really highly rated recruiting classes. Now you get to the point where the expectations have come, because, you know, we're about, 4 or 5 years into this deal, you know, and people are expecting them to be back competing for the SEC championship, or at least the Eastern championship, and they haven't even been in the neighborhood of doing that yet. So, you know, what's happening now is he's still doing the cliches, he's still doing the marketing, he's still bringing in top name recruits, but I think people are tired of that, because they're saying, okay, when do we get to the next level where we start taking these recruits we got? We have a football team that can go out there and beat the daylights out of people, because they're not there yet, and they're not even favored in the East this year. You know, you have a new quarterback. There's a lot more question marks this year than there was last year.
Exactly.
One thing I'll say for Tennessee, they have a lot more depth up front, offensive and defensive line, which I think will help them play better in the second half. But, you know, the coaching standpoint, that's still a question that's unanswered. And I think hearing the cliches again this year at Media Day, just, you know, have people throwing their hands up in the air like, is this ever going to change? Are we ever going to get over the hump with this guy?
Saban's there today. Mark Stoops is there. Kentucky coach is there today. Missouri coach Barry Odom's there, and Kevin Sumlin, the Texas A&M coach, are all the 4 coaches there for Media Day today in Hoover, Alabama. So Mark Stoops, Kentucky, on the hot seat. What do you think for this football team this year?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with them. A lot of people are high on Kentucky this year, and they have recruited very well in some areas they haven't been able to recruit in the past, and they have players in. So expectations there are starting to get high, and I think that will put him on the hot seat, similar to the way, you know, it is with Butch Jones. You know, just taking a look at it, and I'll illustrate with what you have out of Nick Saban today. I guarantee Nick Saban's not going to get up there today with a pair of pom-poms, you know, and try to rally the fan base and try to spit out cliches and tell everybody last year was good enough. You know, I've heard a phrase before, don't talk them up, coach them up, you know, and I think that's where they are. You know, Saban has done that year after year, and people are watching now to see if Butch is ever going to get to the point where he's able to coach them up to the level they need to be to win an SEC championship.
Let's look at Kentucky's non-conference schedule just for kicks. At Southern Miss, Eastern Kentucky, Eastern Michigan, and Louisville. That's a pretty good non-conference schedule. Yeah,
Louisville's going to be a really tough ball game there. You know, they've got a couple cupcakes on there, but honestly, and I will say this, when you're in the SEC, I don't begrudge a big conference like that. Putting a team or two on the schedule, that's a cupcake, because you need those breathers. You know, you're going to get beat up pretty good in SEC play, and you know, that's something that all the teams do. But strength of schedule in conference is always so high that it never really seems to hurt them too bad.
Alabama opens up with Florida State in the Chick-Fil-A game again September the 2nd in Atlanta.
I'm going to tell you this right now. That is bad news for Alabama. That game right there is bad news for Alabama. I don't make many predictions, but that's going to be tough. And I know that, you know, Alabama is expecting to be better with their quarterback Hurts returning for another year here, and he should be improved. But it's another new offensive coordinator for this young kid, you know, and they're going to be a little bit still trying to work that out. And I'm telling you, Florida State might be the most athletic team in the country, and they might be the best team in the country. I would not be surprised if Florida State won a title this year, because, man, they got a ton coming back.
His non-conference schedule: Florida State, Fresno State, Colorado State, Mercer, checkbook game, but he's got him a pretty good rock and roll non-conference schedule. Florida State, Fresno State, fairly competitive, obviously. Colorado State, and then Mercer is, that's a blowout game. But, again, that's the Crimson Tide non-conference. Yep. His conference games at Vanderbilt. He'll go at Texas A&M, at Mississippi State. At home, Alabama has Ole Miss, Arkansas for homecoming, Tennessee, LSU, and he'll wrap things up with the Iron Bowl at Auburn. So, pretty tough schedule.
It really is. It's going to be an interesting year for Alabama this year. That loss last year in the national championship game, that to me, you could have a 2-game losing streak. I mean, it was really easy to conceive of that happening with them playing Florida State the first game of the year, and I applaud them for doing that. It would be easy for them. You're Alabama. You're going to be ranked high enough to where you can have a weak non-conference schedule, and as long as you go undefeated, you're going to be thought high enough of the voters to be in the title game most likely. So, that game, we're going to learn a lot about 2 football teams the first week of the season. That'll be a really fun one to watch.
And we'll get his preseason top 5 before we get out of here. Then I want his SEC East. How do you think they're going to shake out? Who's going to win the SEC East this year?
Oh my goodness! I have a feeling that Georgia's going to win the East, and I have a feeling that Florida's going to be number 2 in the East. Tennessee, I think, is 3. I think from there you're looking at South Carolina, Kentucky, and Vandy.
Missouri,
or Vandy and then Missouri.
Okay.
I always forget Missouri. Just doesn't fit there.
Doesn't fit, no. Well, I was reading out of this college preview book. I was reading that they got Chubb back, Sony Michel's back, Easton's back. They went out and got a bunch of bigger horses on the offensive line for Georgia. Because I was reading a stat 24 times last year. They got, I think it's a stat, but let me see if I can get that real quick because it was worth talking about. Let's see. Georgia. A lot of people think Georgia's going to be the one doing it.
Georgia's. I'll agree with that offensive line if they can help. If Chubb's healthy too, that's the other thing. The injuries for them last year, I think, really knocked them out.
Easton's the quarterback. Bulldogs gave up 24 sacks last season. Chubb and Michel were routinely hit or forced to change direction behind the line of scrimmage because the Hogs got pushed back. So. You're telling me Georgia's going to come back, bounce back, and win it. And Florida's 2nd, Tennessee 3rd, South Carolina 4th. Then comes Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. Next week we'll let him look at the SEC West. All right, before we get out of here, I know you're going to go get something to eat. So do I. Top 5 preseason. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who's your number 5?
Oh, number 5. Number 5 for me, I think, is USC.
Okay.
I like USC at number 5. A lot of good stuff going on out there.
Number 4.
Number 4 is going to be Ohio State.
Okay. Number 3 preseason.
Number 3 preseason. Who am I forgetting? I know I'm forgetting somebody.
A lot of other guys have said, of course, Alabama. They've said Penn State. They've said Michigan.
Yeah.
They've said Clemson, Florida State.
Let me do Clemson at 3.
Okay.
Alabama at 2. And Florida State number 1.
You're sold on the Seminoles, huh?
That's a good football team. They got it together this year, and I'll tell you this: the battle between Florida State and Clemson. I mean you look at that's brutal. If you're Florida State and you have Alabama and you have Clemson, that you have to get through in the regular season before you think about going to play playoff games. But it's gonna be a fun year.
I'm trying before we get out of here to find the ACC. I want to see what. It's a pretty good. Oh, here it is. Pretty good book too. I like his book. You ever read his book?
Yes, good stuff.
His book. Shit. It's the best one I've ever read.
Yeah, he is a master.
There we go. Seminoles. Here's their schedule. Of course, they open up with Alabama. Then they have Louisiana Monroe. That'd be the Duck Dynasty boys.
Yeah.
Miami of Florida. Man.
Yeah.
NC State. At Wake Forest. At Duke. Louisville. At Boston College. Syracuse. At Clemson. Delaware State. And at Florida. That's a hammer schedule.
I'm telling you.
Man.
That's There's not much filler in there, when you look at – because Miami this year, too. Miami is going to be a really good football team. I think Georgia, as high as I am on them to win the East, I think they made a mistake to get rid of Mark Richt. And I think when he's down there in Miami, man, he's tough on the recruiting trail at this point. They had a good class in last year, and they look to be really strong on the field this year. And they're really – if you look at the next recruiting class, they've got a lot of really big commitments. And, they're bringing it back down there. It's going to be fun to watch.
Jimbo Fisher at Florida State, 78-17 in his 8th season.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So these guys are loaded. I was looking at the offensive linemen. I mean, they're just, good grief, 6'4", 6'5", 250. Those are linebackers. I'm sorry. Let's see what's up front. Good grief. Yeah. 6'5", 310, 6'5", 340, 6'7", 320, 6'8", 320. This is the offensive line for the Seminoles.
Yeah.
So, anyway, good stuff. I know he's going to eat, and we ran over a little bit, and that's okay. It's the beauty of the show. However, where can we find you and tweeting, and how do we get in touch and stay in the bubble with Dave Onge?
You want to look me up on the Twitter there? It's at Dave Onge. at Dave Onge. It's all one word, no spaces or doohickeys in there. Just all my name all kind of smushed in there together.
ONGIE.
That is correct.
Yeah. My man is awesome. Next week we'll announce the show. I am elated beyond words. In fact, folks have watched this show say, you guys got good chemistry. I just get out of the way and let him talk because this guy, he knows what's going on. So how's everything going down in Georgia? The kinfolk good?
They're good.
Yeah.
They're good down in Georgia. They're, it's going to be very, very interesting to get back down there. I might get another glimpse at that trophy. I might get another glimpse at the trophy next time.
Still stuck in your craw, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and I understand that. So go get yourself something to eat, and we'll do this again next week, all right?
Good deal. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, he's the man, our buddy Dave Onge. Again, appreciate him right here again on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Hey, we're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. We ran over, and that's okay. Again, yesterday, over 2,300 views. Our biggest show yet was this past Friday, 3,200 views. So we continue to grow, and we thank you for watching us and sharing us and liking us. And, of course, it's archived. You can go back and watch them anytime you want on Facebook, or just go to TomTaylorSports.com and hit the big Listen Live button and enjoy it, because we love coming in here and doing this for you. Tomorrow we will be at Champion Chevrolet, having a big time tomorrow, and looking forward to being over there, hanging, of course, with our buddy Andy Dietrich, who's back off vacation, and it's going to be a good time to be had over there for him tomorrow. And see where I know he went to Europe, and so I went to Jonesboro for vacation. He went to Europe, and that wasn't Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's Jonesboro, Tennessee. I cruised through Jonesboro, so he'll come back with stories. We'll be there tomorrow at Champion Chevrolet. Friday we'll be at Food City Friday on Euclid Avenue in Bristol, and so we're going to be there. We've just signed the deal. We're going to be doing shows at Freddy's here in Johnson City. A week from Monday we'll be in Charleston, West Virginia, doing shows up there. We're going to be talking to some of the coaches from Marshall. We got some guys lined up and ready to go up there. It's going to be pretty cool. So we're looking forward to taking it on the highway a little bit as we wrap up show number 555 here today. Our guest, I do want to say thanks to Casey Marler, checked in with us by phone earlier from WJHL TV. Funny guy, great guy. Also, Haley Wary, of course, from First Priority was here. Greg Onge talking Major League Baseball. And, of course, Danny Birchfield from Chick-Fil-A got it all started. And then, of course, our buddy, my man, Dave Onge. So I can't thank these folks enough. We are out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Again, share us and like us, and you do, and we thank you for that. We will rejoin you again coming up tomorrow, right down the road from Champion Chevrolet, #1 Chevy dealer in the state. So for Dave and all the other guests, this is Tom Taylor telling you, as always, win or lose, be a good sport. And thanks so much for being with us and sharing us and liking us and being part of our show here on the 555th edition of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Until tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Champion Chevrolet, so long, everybody.